Good evening, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Football Fundits and to this segment, the FPL Fundits. It's just about under 5 hours to go for the FPL deadline, and as I promised you guys last night, I will shoot one more episode with a few team selection tips, last minute changes depending on team fitness, and differential and captain picks obviously going into game week 1. Differentials, again, people say not really much of a concern right now. Starting in, a lot of teams are different players, some are very templatized, 6-7 players in, and some are separate. But I would still say there are plenty of options to consider, right? So happily will offer you guys those suggestions. Before we move ahead, please make sure you hit on that subscribe button. We really want to get 1,000 subscribers before game week 10. Help us get there, spread the word. Follow us on our social media and Twitter handle, as all our Twitter and Instagram handle as well. For the Fundits Mini League, the code is right there. Please join. The winner gets a jersey for the 2022-2023 season, the home jersey of the club of their choice. The winner of last season, the jersey's already been ordered for him. He should receive it soon, hopefully. So to be eligible, you have to subscribe to our channel and follow us on both our social media handles. Don't forget the easy bit, right? It's just to subscribe. That's a 1-second job. Just do that, and then all the 38 weeks of hard work will be worth it. So I'm going to quickly go into this episode. I want to keep it short and not take too much of time. The whole point of this episode was to help you out and help you tweak your team and help you take away any confusion that you may have. Yes, it's game week 1, so even with me, the final draft will not be the final draft, but I'm happy to help you with team selection tips as much as possible, right? Look, starting off with differentials. In the week that we see so far, now while we were speaking and while I did the introduction, right, I was a little distracted because I just got news about James Rodriguez that he's apparently not fit, he's in isolation, and surprisingly Richarlison is. So just ignore the Rodriguez bit for right now. It's a preset template of mine. I can't really do much with it and release the episode right after. Buendia though has been pass fit, so that is one to look out for. Buendia's ownership currently is at just under 5%, right, which is why he's considered differential. We all know about Aston Villa's fixture runs right now. Very, very, I wouldn't say the easiest, but a very good first 3 fixtures. Definitely one to look out for me, especially if he's fit. Ings should be playing too. Watkins is a bit doubtful. Could start. Watford, Newcastle, Brentford, right? Good scoring opportunities there. If you think Danny Ings has to get delivery or has to get on the end of a passes, Buendia could be the one to do it for you. So I think Buendia at 4.8% is a good one to go. Ismail Sarr, a lot of players and managers have been talking about him. Guess his ownership, guys. It's under 4%. He's at 3.2%. Definitely one you can take a chance on, right? Watford has gone under the radar because of their patchy preseason. But Villa, Brighton, Tottenham, Wolves, Norwich, Newcastle, Leeds. Tasty run of fixtures for you to try it out, right? At 6.0, he's really worth the shot. He's the talisman clearly in their side. So I would definitely have a bigger eye on him if I were you. For the ones who don't want to go for Benrahma because he's about 6% now, Bowen is at just 1.8% ownership. He's looking sharp too. Yes, Benrahma is looking the best amongst the West Ham players. You take over, especially the end of season run you saw from Lingard, right? But Bowen was quite decent for them throughout the season in his patches, right? So I would worth to keep an eye out on him as well, especially if you want to avoid all the Benrahma owners or his ownership going up. Now, like I said, ignore James Rodriguez. I just got the information as we were speaking. So that's, or else at 3.3%, he was great too, because Calvert-Lewin again was pass fit. The only player who I saw him being able to match creatively or receive any kind of delivery was from James Rodriguez. Don't know really how Townsend was fitting into that squad yet, right? So I thought he'd be a good differential for game week 1 at least, and targeting someone or having someone to target Everton's amazing fixture run. Sadio Mane, a name I'm sure you guys have been looking at and been waiting for me to get to. He's owned by under 5%. Mane's ownership is at 4.5%. Yes, there's a reason, obviously, because he's just 0.5 cheaper than Mo Salah. No one wants to double up on these two players right now. They want to go. I would assume if United had a tougher fixture run, right, people would have probably benched Bruno, not taken him in the start. But United have such a good fixture run themselves, you don't see people doubling up on Mane and Salah, right? But if you must and you think that you're going to get a wild card in game week 3 and 4 and you want to ride your luck and you think Mo Salah is going to have a stinker, Mane 4.5%, could captain as well, if not Jota. Jota is about 15% ownership though, so obviously not differential. But looking outside of Salah, if you dare, if you're brave. And one which will surprise most of you as well, Pulisic, right? Injury to Ziyech, Mount coming in. I think Pulisic starts too at 8.0, ownership at just under 2%. Crystal Palace could be a good fixture for you to keep him around. Obviously, if it doesn't work out, you can take him out for the next 3 or 4 game weeks. Switch him out for the likes of Jota, Greenwood, depends on who's starting. Save that 0.5 there as well. 1 game week punt could be worth it, but don't want to speak too much on that. It's just a worthwhile option. Differential forwards, not too many to consider. Fewer and far between them. The likes of even Iheanacho probably has. Iheanacho, by the way, has more ownership than Jamie Vardy by making 1. I think Iheanacho is at 14.5 and Vardy at 13.5. So in terms of below 5%, right, you're saying Maximin and Werner at about 4.7% each, both of them. Now, Saint Maximin is for everybody who's packed up their midfield and defense and literally has no 0.5 to spare or that 1 million extra to spare for Wilson. You don't want to miss out on the Newcastle fixture run. You think they'll start off well. If Wilson gets delivery or if Wilson is in good form, the person to benefit the most who's starting with him will be Alan Saint Maximin. 6.5 could be worth the risk for the first 2 game weeks at least. So why not? Timo Werner, like I said, yes, Chelsea's fixture run is not good. Timo Werner for me is more of a placeholder for the ones who don't have money for Jamie Vardy. If you want to switch around, keep some money and just assume there's 2.5 more to Lukaku. That's the reason why I would keep a Timo Werner right now. Switch off to Lukaku in game week 4 or game week 3. No, well, not game week 3. In terms of Chelsea, Chelsea's fixture run ends after game week 6, so game week 7 for Chelsea. But yeah, if you think Lukaku's doing well coming in after the international break, Villa, Tottenham, City, tough run of fixtures, but you could do well getting him in early and taking a few licks, right? So Werner could do for me just even for that, for the Villa fixture and for the Palace fixture which comes up in this game week. Obviously, the priority is to go in for your Ings, Watkins if fit, DCL if fit, which he looks like he's past fit from what I'm reading on the side. Mikel Antonio. But like I said, if you want to go differential, now's the time to take that chance. But with a lot of caution, we've seen Werner struggling all of last season. Tony Marshall, obviously, for the ones who want to risk tripling up and don't want Greenwood in midfield, they want to triple up with the Jota, Salah there and don't want to put in Greenwood. Marshall will be starting because Cavani is just back now. Probably will miss the first 2 game weeks, right? At his price point and the fixtures that United have with Southampton and Wolves to follow after Leeds, Newcastle after the international break, West Ham, Aston Villa. If he hits form, a small price rise could be worth having in at the differential that he is right now. So worth keeping an eye on these guys if you want to move away from the Ings. Ings is 36% owned. He's the most owned forward right now. If you want to look beyond Ings and most number of ownership, that's possibly the way to go for you in terms of differential strikers. Che Adams, only the reason I put him up, right, is because they have a decent fixture, I think, Everton, right? And Everton look patchy the way they do and they look as woeful as they did against United with their players in isolation. Richarlison apparently past fit. Will he start? We don't know. Adams with WordPress pretty much in contention could cause some damage. So yeah, Adams at 7.0 again. If you don't have that 7.5 either in the bank, I think Che Adams is the way to go. Everton, United, but then Newcastle, West Ham after that. So worth considering, a risk surely, but just purely looking at differentials, right? But I think Adams would be differential for differential's sake. But game week 1, I think everything's on the cards, right? You can just take that risk and take that chance right now. Go with your gut. Captain picks. Mo Salah obviously the number 1 contender this week against Norwich, although he blanked against Norwich the last time they played there, right? Bruno Fernandes against Leeds did a great job in the last home game, so will be no doubt a worthy deputy. I think I will go with Salah. Salah's at the armband since the time I made my first draft of the drafts of the many drafts of millions of them, like you can call them. So I think Salah number 1 for me. I might be tempted with Antonio last minute if I get any news. And for the ones who really bank on Ings, since you have 36% of you have him and you want to break chain from Salah, Ings is the one to look out for you. But I would say captain pick number 1 would be Salah. Differential captain pick would be Antonio over Ings for me. That's if I were picking here. Obviously, these four players would be in rotation, I think, for the first 3 game weeks, right? So we'll be seeing these faces probably for the next 2 game weeks. That's the reason, or the reason I'm saying this is I'll take you to the next point, right? It's how to build your team and help you with the final team selection and help you strategize a bit, right? So you can see the team I have right now, which is like in a smaller format on the right hand side. It has the 2 Brighton keepers as a backup. It has Trent, Salah, Bruno Fernandes, Shaw, Soufal, Simicas, Harvey Barnes, Wilson, Antonio. On the bench, you have Gilmore, Obafemi, and Bardsley. So not much of a bench there. And how can you change that? Try to alleviate final confusions. Son being the one player I messed out. So essentially, guys, this is what your team would look like, correct? If you go in for a strong Trent, you go in for Son. We did this in the episode yesterday as well, right? My final draft. Obviously, from that, I have changed and got in Barnes, right? But my forward line remains the same. So the only reason why I'm a little more confused than I was at this time last season was because of the limitations that I'm having, even though Son's at 10 and Alexander's at 7.5. I feel a little worried that unless I wildcard early, I may not have enough in terms of placeholding to even get in the likes of Lukaku, forget Kane, right? So what do I do in that case? See, I have 2 options. Either I go without Alexander-Arnold and hope Tsimikas covers him for 3 weeks. Something I showed you guys yesterday as well, right? But the thing is, you need to build smartly. Just because you make that move, you need to figure out how do I bring in which players I want to bring in the weeks after or in the week after this. So if I go without Trent, right, I would still want to have a good a good decent balance in my side in terms of the players I'm looking at. Everton with Digne obviously is tempting me. Right in the back of my mind, he just say that no, just go for Digne. Why not? Outside shout out obviously is if I keep Trent, by the way, and take out Tsimikas and go Jota in midfield, I can go Amate because I think Amate, even though Vestergaard's on his way to Leicester, I think Amate starts at least 2 game weeks the way it's going. Maybe there's a quarantine, fitness. We're not 100% sure, right? How quickly he'll move him around. So you have Amate at least for 1 or 2 game weeks. So if I don't take out Trent, I think Tsimikas makes his way out. That's if I go in for Jota. So let's go back to if I'm taking out Trent, right? I want to add balance to my side. Yes, we spoke about Wilson yesterday, so I'm kind of finishing off right there. West Ham, Aston Villa, Southampton, United, Leeds, Watford. Good run of fixtures till game week 8. Antonio, for me, I think would be more tempting for me to remove, right? But again, you see the kind of player he's in and Benrahma behind him. They have form and decent fixtures too. So a tough one for me. Let's say I don't look at any of these, right? Let's say I take Ings instead of Obafemi. That gives me 3.5 in my bank that's left, right, to fill in over there. Now I can take out Janssen here. Obviously, that was I can put in Bardsley in here. That's 4.0. Then I can put in an Amate, for example, for someone who's starting. Now, obviously, this is not my team. I'm just helping you guys think out loud. So that makes your job a little easier and probably takes away or gives you guys an idea or some vision. So Amate comes in for me over there. Now obviously this is not the strongest side if you look at it. For 2 game weeks you could have Tsimikas and Amate with Shaw, Soufal. You have Wilson, Ings and Antonio though with great fixtures. All 3 look like they could be scoring at least in all those games. Ings for me, what would happen here in this case is Ings would go out in game week 3-4 and Bamford would come in. I have Barnes, who I really do fancy, looking at the form he's in, coming back from an injury, ready to go, and Leicester's fixture run. Bit patchy, but someone who could work out in the first 3 fixtures, right? It's Wolves, West Ham, Norwich. City after that. Not really the worst fixtures, if you have a look at it. It's quite decent run of fixtures. So I would look at Leicester as well. I would look at Barnes. Hopefully there's not too much rotation there. Now that's if I don't take Trent, right? Again, though you can see I don't have enough room in terms of putting in a placeholder to get Lukaku or Kane in. For that, I'll probably have to do even more surgery, right? I'll have to possibly consider taking a Son out. Let me show this to you guys. Getting in a Sar. And that gives me 4.0 in the bank. If I take out Ings, I'll still not be able to afford Harry Kane. So, you think out loud and the moves you make, keeping all of this in mind, right? So if you are hell-bent on getting Harry Kane in and this is what a front three looks like, and you've not thought about placeholders, I think you could consider taking one of Wilson, Antonio out and playing Tony in, especially with the information that I'm getting in right now, that Lacazette and Oba both missed the first game against Brentford. So if you keep a Tony in here and you have a Sar over there, you can take out Danny Ings down the line. You have 13 in the bank, so you have zero point 0.4, about 0.5 more, right? To bring in Harry Kane, and definitely can bring in Lukaku in game week 3 or 4. In this case, though, I've removed Son and Trent, guys, so that's what the team looks like here. You know what? I can just go in for Greenwood or Jota, and since I've taken out Trent, I think Jota could be good for me against Norwich. So yeah, Harry Kane. That's kind of how you bring in or figure how a squad would move, right? I hope this has helped you think a bit in terms of how you're going to bring in your premium assets and take away your confusion, right? So right now, I would say don't overthink it. Kane could start, couldn't start, right? It's a risk definitely, and a lot of you managers are not shy. Kane is at 18% ownership still, so a lot of you managers have gone for him. I would say, and this is someone who started Kane and Son last season, and people were saying not to. I just fancied them even with the fixture run, and it worked it worked beautifully for me. I would say still, don't start Kane game week 1. Go in for Ings, Wilson, Antonio, DCL. Maybe not. He's fit though. That's kind of a bit of a confusion there for you. But yeah, I would say this is what it looks like, right? And if I go backwards now, and let's say I had Ings here, could be anyone. It could have been Wilson for you guys. I don't take in Son. I can take out Amarte again, or you know what? I'm just gonna take out Simikas because I have Jota. I'm gonna get Trent back in. That leaves me with 1 million in the bank, which gives me another option of either adding to Tony and having Wilson, Ings, and Antonio with Sar. And I fancy Sar. I showed you guys is a good differential. I could upgrade Gilmore to a 5.5, although I won't do that. Definitely, I think I'm okay so far. I could potentially also add this up in my defense, take this to a 5.0 here, or take this up to Cresswell, keep 0.5 in the bank for a City defender or a Chelsea defender coming down the line. But essentially, this is what I'm seeing in terms of player rotational, right? Your Ings, Antonios, Tonys, Wilson. In midfield, your Sar, Duen Diaz, Ben Ramas, Bowens. Jota, Greenwood. Salah, Fernandes seem to be short so far. I really do want to start Son, right? But I'm looking at my team right now, and I keep telling you it's 22% ownership almost. But I like the balance of my side here, right? It gives me option to take Cresswell. I could upgrade Sar up to 6.5, take Duenda, Benrama as well. Although I will definitely not be tripling up on West Ham. Even if that works out against me, then it's fine. You're not comfortable doing that. But those are just a few options that you could look at. And so it really goes off with, do you want Son? Do you think Son is going to have a blinder against City even without Kane? So he's on penalties, which is why I had him. Then the fixtures get a little difficult after that. They play Wolves, Watford, Palace, Chelsea, Arsenal. So you could keep him for 2, 3, 4, and then there's obviously a question mark about 5, 6, and when Kane comes in, right? So there are questions to be answered. At that price point, Son takes away a lot of money from you guys, but he could potentially give you that value, right? So again, to just take you back to my original team, I didn't have Ings. I was lacking money, so I went with Obafemi over there. And potentially that's what the team looks like with Obafemi back here, Tony instead of Wilson, and Antonio starting for me. So what I lose out here obviously is that I'll be playing with 4 defenders instead of 3 attackers, which is what I prefer, or 5 midfielders. Maybe for one game week it could be worth it. Try looking at the budget forwards starting off this season. I would recommend game week 2 or 3 onwards, keep an eye on your premiums obviously. In terms of midfield, I think it's relatively easier so far if you keep the confusion of the Chelsea assets away. You could risk differentials with your Barnes is about 8% now. You could risk your differentials with your West Ham and Leeds assets. For me, Rafinha and Bamford both coming after game week 4. I'm okay going without them. Could lose out on points, which is fine. But yeah, that's where I'm at so far. So again, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I shot this one to get it out about 3 hours before the deadline. Hopefully it helped you guys out as much as possible, helps all you FPL managers out there. Don't forget to hit subscribe on this channel. You'll be seeing a lot more of me this season. We'll also be coming out with a non-FPL segments, more of previews and reviews in the EPL. Also the La Liga coming out very soon. So stay tuned for all of that. Show us the love. Hit us up on our social media handles. But please don't forget to hit subscribe. I really want to hit 1,000 subscribers for all the work that has been going in. And thank you so much for tuning in again. And happy to happy to take any feedback that you guys have as well. What kind of content do you want to see regarding FPL? Do you want me to add more stuff? Happy to listen to all of you guys. Best of luck for the first game week. Have a good season. Don't take things to your heart. It happens to me too sometimes. But tune out from FPL if it's getting too much for you. Talk to your family and friends. Do not let it completely overwhelm you. End of the day, it's just a game. It's for fun. Just enjoy it as much as you can. Best of luck again. Take care.